In the sphere of existence that houses a majestic human life, there abides a mystical principle that is both profound and enchanting. And it goes like this. The more you give, the more you receive. Yes, the more you give, the more you receive. This act of giving is filled with the richness of empathy, understanding, and of love. Giving has the incredible influence to return tenfold, nurturing the one that gives in ways both apparent and subtle. It is an act that transforms the mundane transaction of physical possessions and ventures into the realm of the spiritual. It discovers the donation of one's time, one's knowledge, and one's abilities, and most importantly, the offering of one's heart. This truth is eloquently embodied in the words of the Lebanese-American poet Khalil Gibran, and he says, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give." To bring this philosophy to life, let's delve into the narrative of an ordinary man whose extraordinary choices crafted a story of strength, faith, and the miraculous power of giving. Our protagonist is a man named John, whose life, despite its modest and simple exterior, was rich in virtues of kindness and faith. You see, a sudden wave of economic recession had washed away his means of earning, leaving him stranded on the side of financial hardship. His resources were minimal, the specter of hunger a constant companion. Yet, in the heart of this man bloomed a faith so unwavering, so very profound, that he decided to share what little he had with a homeless woman living in the vicinity. And as he set forth on his journey of giving, miraculous events began to manifest in his life. Each day, despite his unchanging financial situation, he found that he had just enough to fend off hunger. His neighbor, moved by his actions, started to share bountiful produce from her garden. A friend, unaware of his financial predicament, gifted him a book of entrepreneurship that planted the seed of a small business idea in his mind. And as he watered this seed with his dedication and relentless effort, it sprouted into venture that eventually lifted him from his financial downturn. His story became a living testament to the profound truth. Remember, when you have only God, you have everything. So in today's world, ongoing air of uncertainty grips humanity. The relentless waves of a global crisis crash against the shores of our lives, leaving in their wake trails of financial anxieties. In these times, surrendering our fears to the divine can serve as a guiding light that navigates us through the storm. The wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi resonates strongly in this context. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Our relentless pursuit of desires, rather than needs, stokes the flames of overconsumption, destabilizing the delicate balance of our world. A shift towards understanding and appreciating the value of less is more could really guide us towards a more harmonious and sustainable way of living. The dark shadows of financial hardship often paint our lives in somber hues, enveloping us in blanket of despair. However, It is crucial to remember that the darkest hour is just before the dawn, and with the break of day, light dispels the shadows, maintaining an unwavering faith in the divine order, and acknowledging that we are under the loving care of the universe. The universe can shroud us with a sense of tranquility amidst the chaos. It is about letting go and letting God, releasing our worries and placing our trust in the divine wisdom that governs the cosmos. Saint Francis of Assisi once said, "For it is in giving that we receive." These words remind us that every act of generosity, every gesture of love and kindness creates ripples of positivity in the universe. When we give freely and we give with our hearts, without the expectation of receiving anything back, we awaken to the joy of sharing, the bliss of loving, and the fulfillment of touching another's life. Every offering becomes a reflection of our inner state, a testament to our willingness to go beyond our boundaries and reach out to the whole world. In this journey of life, financial hardships and worldly anxieties might make us question the fairness of existence, leading us to withdraw from the world and withhold our gifts. However, as we open ourselves to the act of giving, we invite into our lives a wealth beyond material riches, a wealth of love, joy, and spiritual growth. Embracing simplicity, choosing this over consumption, and focusing on our essential needs can bring in a sense of inner contentment and fulfillment. And as we practice the art of giving, we learn to see beyond our worries and our fears, realizing that our lives are abundant with love and joy that we can share with the world. To illustrate, let me revisit John's story. With his humble resources, he offered his heart to those around him, inspiring them to extend their support in his time of need. John's story mirrors the wisdom and the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, who says, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived, and you have lived well." Our world as we know it is shifting rapidly. Amidst these changes, the light of giving shines as a beacon of hope, reminding us of our capacity to effect positive changes. So in this story, our part may seem small, but every act of kindness adds a verse to the orchestra of love and compassion that echoes through eternity. And as we surrender our fears and place our complete trust in the divine, we begin to realize that we are not solitary beings tossed by the winds of fate, but beloved children of the cosmos, guided by divine love and wisdom. And in this realization lies our empowerment and freedom. Know it and trust that. Once a well-to-do man had his eyes set on a pair of expensive handcrafted shoes that were the talk of the town. The store that showcased these shoes was renowned high-end and frequented by those who believed in the finer things in life. Overcome by desire and the allure of luxury, he decided to treat himself, anticipating the joy and satisfaction he would feel owning such an exclusive pair of shoes. And as he approached the store, a glistening beacon of indulgence, went through his body. He noticed a figure huddled at the entrance. There sat a man, a much older, evidently less fortunate man. He sat on a very cold pavement. He wore a threadbare coat, and he was holding a cap for spare change. But what struck the wealthier man the most was the realization that the older man had no feet. He was a double amputee, his lower limbs lost to an unseen tragedy. The sight in itself stopped the affluent man in his tracks. A sudden flood of emotion swept over him. Here he was, about to spend an exorbitant amount of money on a pair of shoes, an accessory, while another human being, just within his sight, had no feet to wear any shoes at all. The sharp contrast between his intention and the reality he was confronted with struck him deeply. The universe, in its unique and mysterious ways, had shown him a mirror, reflecting his desires against the backdrop of essential human needs. It was a moment of awakening, a silent yet profound lesson in understanding the difference between wants and needs. With a heavy heart and a humble spirit, he stepped away from the store. You see, the desire for the expensive shoes had now vanished, replaced by a deeper understanding of gratitude and a renewed perspective on the meaning of true abundance. He did not walk away with a new pair of shoes that day. Instead, he walked away with a lesson imprinted on his heart. He realized that the universe had offered him an insight into mindful living and conscious consumption. The shoes, he understood, were a desire, not a need. He already had enough, and for that, he was immensely grateful. This encounter served as a gentle reminder that true wealth is not measured by the material possessions we accumulate, but by our ability to appreciate and be content with what we already have. So we may carry forth this wisdom in our hearts, nurturing the seeds of love, generosity, and faith, and let them bloom into a garden of joy and fulfillment. Let us continue to trust in the divine, completely surrender our fears, and open our hearts to the joy of giving. Dear God, grant me the strength to surrender my fears and place my trust in thy divine wisdom. May I find the courage to share my gifts with the world, to touch lives with my love and my kindness, and to find joy in my acts of giving. Guide me, dear God, on this journey, that I may learn to see the abundance in my life, and also to appreciate the beauty and fulfillment in simplicity. In thee I trust, and thus I pray. Amen. As we move forward on this path, may we be guided by the profound words of Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to completely lose yourself in the service of others. For each act of kindness, every instance of generosity, no matter how seemingly small, forms a vital thread in the fabric of universal love. These gestures beautify our world, weaving a more harmonious, loving, and joyful existence. Now, if these reflections have resonated with you or sparked a flame of inspiration within, I encourage you to extend this ripple effect by sharing this and other related messages on podcast with those in your circle. In this way, we can collectively contribute to healing our world, one person and one message at a time.